week on Country Music Junkies, we have a new duo, kind of an old duo, but a new duo in a new style to introduce you to. I am talking with John Abrams of the Abrams. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Patrice. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Even better now that I'm speaking with you. Now, a lot has happened in the last little while for you and your brother James in the evolution of the Abrams sound. So can we kind of go back in time a little bit and chat about kind of your starting country music and how things have gotten to the point where they are today?
Absolutely. Well, James and I grew up playing a lot of bluegrass, old country music, gospel music with our family ever since we were little kids. We were 9 and 11 years old when we started touring on the road. Mm-hmm. So this is year, I think, 15 for us touring. And so there's this rich history and tradition, 4 generations in our family touring on the road, playing music, that we, grew up in. And so for us, there really wasn't a time that we can remember that we weren't engaged with our family's music in some way, whether that be playing our fiddles or singing harmony on old-time songs, especially songs like the Louvin Brothers would sing, or Jim and Jesse McReynolds in the bluegrass world, or some of the old standards like that. And so that's the kind of stuff we cut our teeth on when we were kids. And then we started, not too long after we started playing, we started touring a lot throughout the United States, particularly in the southern U.S., where bluegrass and mountain music really came out of, and decided that was sort of a great opportunity for us to go down and learn the culture and the rich tradition that is that style of music, or those styles of music, I should say. And we sort of, I like to say, we kind of marinated in it for years in this old country bluegrass sound, and played it for many years with our family. And then over time, we sort of started to explore and started to write our own songs. It was particularly a record we did a tribute to Arlo Guthrie and Bob Dylan's music called Blue on Brown.
Yeah.
An album we put out in about 2007. And that was a real moment for us, kind of a watershed moment where we thought, man, these are such iconic songs, and it's amazing to see that they're so adaptable into this style. We'd love to start, sort of reaching out and starting to write our own music. And that was right around the time we started writing our own music, and we put out an album after that called Northern Redemption that explored those writing styles. But it was really 2 years ago that this sort of incarnation of our or iteration, I should say, of our musical lives started with teaming up with Gavin Brown, a great producer, really great music sensibility, and we all worked so well together, James and I and Gavin, and he certainly comes from more of a pop rock world, having produced Bare Naked Ladies, Tragically Hip. I mean, he was at the genesis of the careers of Few Days Grace and Billy Talent, some great acts like this, right? He worked with Lady Gaga at one point.
Wow.
And so there's this huge sort of collide, a wonderful musical collide between Gavin's world and our world, coming out of bluegrass country music into the studio where we started working 2 years ago. And that's really sort of the very, very quick version of our career thus far, but sort of leading into what became the Abrams, this new EP that we're releasing with Warner Music, and we're very fortunate to start working with Warner back before Christmas. And it was this sound that Gavin, James, and I really honed in the studio and honed in the writing rooms to get to be really reflective of the Abrams and who we are right now, particularly in our lives, both musically and personally, in the stories we want to tell, and certainly particularly with this record coming off of 2 years touring throughout the United States. James and I did a bunch of shows down there for a few months at a time, and then we'd come back home, go back out for a few months, and that was really an opportunity for us to spend a lot of time in small towns. A lot of the time, 2,000 people or less.
Wow!
And it really spurred a lot of inspiration for this record. A lot of the songs really come from having spent a lot of time on the road down there, and just trying to tell stories that we experience, but also stories that are universal, that people can go listen to the record and go, man, I can see myself in that song. So that's a very quick sort of arc of our musical journey thus far, but that kind of sort of brings you up to speed.
Seeing a timeline laid out for us is really cool. With this major label debut EP released May 20th, your self-titled The Abrams, first single from that EP is the one that we're all hearing on radio right now, Fine. Can you tell us a little bit about the story behind that song and how it came to be and why you picked it as your first single?
Yeah, you know what, James and I, it was last summer, we wanted to write a song that just captured that hope and optimism and just absolute fun that music can really bring. And it's that same kind of hope and optimism that we saw touring throughout the States in some of these smaller towns where we maybe, some of these towns may be struggling economically. They might not have seen more fruitful years more recently, but it didn't really matter. There was always a strength in community, and so sort of on a more abstract level, capturing that happiness, hope, and optimism was something we always wanted to do with this record, and with our music in general. But this song in particular, we sat down, we started. It was middle of the summertime, and James and I were just feeling that sentiment of you can get into the daily struggle and the daily routine of life, right? And I think we all have been there at some point. It doesn't matter what kind of occupation we have, and you can feel like you're just putting in your hours, and life should never be about putting in hours. It should be about experiencing the wonderful joy that we have in living. And for us, that idea of don't worry, everything's going to be fine is something I think we tell ourselves every day as people, to be able to get through that week. And that's sort of the spirit of that song we wanted to capture, and certainly influenced by the time that we had, in smaller towns that might not have the best of times these days, but everything is going to be fine because they maintain that sense of community and getting to play community concerts at the center of town. That's a great example of maintaining that kind of hope and optimism.
For sure, absolutely. And I mean, it's a great tune. It's very upbeat and a very fun song to listen to, as well as having a very
fun.
Cool
it's laid back, it's enjoyable, and that was one thing we wanted to do, is just make people smile in the audience. That was really what we had intended with the song.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of your kind of next steps, obviously the release of the EP is very recent. The debut single from that EP is out and killing it on the radio waves, which is amazing. What's next for you guys as the summer approaches?
Well, for James and I, it's always been, about getting out and connecting with fans. For us, we're so happy about this single and how well it's doing at radio, and we're all really excited, no doubt. And for us, that's really a great means to an end for us to be able to get out and reach more people and more audiences and wider audiences. And so we have, it's great. We've got shows coming in regularly now, just as a result of all the success of the song and the new record. So we're going to be actually focusing. It's nice. We're going to be focusing a lot on Canada this summer into the fall, and we're excited just because we spent a lot of time touring overseas and in the States for the last few years. We've been in Europe and in the UK quite a bit, and in Israel a few times, and then all throughout the States. And so it's nice to be able to return back to Canada and be able to connect again. With our home country fans, for sure.
Now, if fans want to connect with you or check you guys out and see where you are playing, where can they go for that?
You bet. Yeah, well, we're very active on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that sort of thing. And so we always encourage fans to reach out to us on social media, because James and I look after that, and we really try and connect as often personally with people as often as we can, and then certainly the website www.theabramsmusic.com. You can check us out there and see where the tour dates are.
Amazing, John. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us an update on where things are at with the Abrams. Again, fans, be sure to head out and grab their debut EP, The Abrams, and also download their first single, Fine, which is available on radio now. Thank you so much, John.
Thanks so much. It's been great.